Kaboom.
Kaboom.
We're live. We're
Wow.
going, no intros, just hit you in the face with liveness.
As I'm taking video once again of myself.
That's right.
Hey, check out my stories on Insta.
Yeah, Insta you. That's how you get a hold of the mortgage coach DFW.
We still need an intro video
on
here.
The Insta. Yeah, well, you got a guy, so why don't you?
He's actually working on it. So fun
on
fact, he's working on something else for me real quick, and then he's working on ours next.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So today, Glenda and I, hello, Glenda White.
Good morning, Mike. Welcome back.
I am Mike Mills. We're with Verity Mortgage here in Dallas, Fort Worth, and today we're not going to talk about mortgage stuff because that stuff is boring and
it's not sexy today.
No,
it's always sexy.
Fun. It's always fun. Rates are a little better than they were, so that's good news, right?
More inventory buyers. I will say real quick on that, buyers, it's a great time to get back into the market.
Yeah, for sure.
We're seeing more sellers concessions. We're seeing decreases on the market.
Yeah.
So the buyers that were huddled under a rock the last 6 months, it's go time. Like, you have options now.
Yeah. Prices are coming down a little bit. We're getting in a little bit better spot when it comes to you're not having to compete with 30 other people to buy a house. You don't have to pay $30,000 over list price.
It's getting better for buyers.
Right. It's improving across the board. And now that we're starting to come out of summer, school's getting ready to start here pretty quick.
Yep.
To all of our realtor friends out there, I think you will start to see an uptick.
For sure.
In buyers coming onto the market ready to do something, because rates have gotten a little bit better, not dramatically. I mean, there was somebody said that like rates were in the fours again. And
I had that call yesterday. I'm like, fours where?
I mean, maybe if you're like
6.5 points
buying 2 or 3 points, maybe, but I don't see where they're there. I mean, there might be a couple instances, but for the most part, they're still,
maybe 15-year fix.
There you go. Yeah.
Again, bait click. And that brings up kind of a good topic. I know we're not talking about it, but it's the clickbait of what they're doing, right? What you're seeing online for the 4% interest rates. If you read the bottom line, most of the times those are 15-year fix, or they have 4 points buy down. I had one yesterday. It was $24,000 buy down.
Right.
I'm like, guys, come on, $24,000. It's not worth it. So
no.
Fun fact on the mortgage side.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can figure out stuff, I guess, and try to see if there's something out there and that's in that range. But like you said, it's usually a 15-year note, or it's a lot of points that you're buying. So, but either way, like we've said a million times on all this kind of stuff, the rate is only temporary. You can always refinance your rate down the road. So it's nothing that you're tied to forever. It's just a matter of, being aware of that and getting a home at a good price, which is way better, because even though prices are leveling out, they are still going to continue to go up.
Absolutely.
And because we don't have enough homes, there's not enough inventory. They're not building homes. There is not a wave of foreclosures coming. That's not.
I saw the other day. It's the foreclosure projection for the next 2 years is 2.4%.
Yeah, well, that's because the average equity that like the average loan to value right now for American households is like 42%.
Yeah, it's
they
crazy.
Have almost 60% equity in their house.
Right. So they're not going to walk away if they can sell their home and just go sit in an RV. I have a lot of people going RVing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
RVing and sitting in because they're just waiting for the bubble to come.
Right.
And I keep telling them, if you have a 2% foreclosure projection, it's not coming.
No.
And there's 3 million people moving to Dallas, Fort Worth in the next 10 years. So there's a lot of people coming. Supply and demand are always going to be a big issue. And hey, agents, your kids are going back to school with us. So I hope you have a kick butt last couple days. Like I'm into like 24 hours before my kid goes back to school.
It's summertime's always funny because everybody's excited when it starts. Like, oh, it's summer, we're gonna have so much fun. And then like 2 weeks into it, they're like, we're school looking back again. I'm tired of these kids bothering me all day, eating all my food. So yeah. All right. Well, we're here today. We're going to talk about YouTube. YouTube specifically. We're going to get down to some details on YouTube.
Yep.
We're not talking about any other platforms. This is just purely about YouTube. So I'm sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you won't see it because Facebook will hear us say YouTube 5 times and then they'll be like, I'm turning that down. Not show that to anybody.
We're going to make sure we get it out.
That's right.
See FaceTimers.
So YouTube is obviously one of the platforms. A lot of people look at it as a social media platform, but it's actually, you would agree, more of a search engine.
It is a search engine because it's Google.
Yes.
Right? Google owns YouTube. YouTube owns Google. So it is still the #1 search platform.
Right. So if you're out there searching for information about a certain topic, odds are you're going to go to YouTube and look up that topic, see if you can find a video.
Correct.
So that applies to all things. That applies to, cars, houses, how to fix a dishwasher, whatever.
Absolutely.
There's a billion things on there that you can search and try to find. You can
Right.
even find things about YouTube on YouTube, how to use YouTube.
You can.
There's
amazing.
actually a ton of videos about that. So I've watched a lot of them.
How to get granular on YouTube. Well,
That's right.
go search YouTube.
So, so Glenda, let's start with that. Let's start with, tell us, from your point of view, the most effective uses of YouTube, why people use them, who's on the platform, and what you've found, because you've been using it for a while. You've been posting on there for a long time.
Yep.
What is some stuff that you've learned over the years about it?
So a couple things on YouTube that we need to be on the lookout for is it is an education platform.
Mhm.
It is a platform that our consumers will go find us first before they use you. So
Right.
it's that know, like, and trust factor.
Uh-huh.
So what we put on YouTube is, and it's kind of a little bit different for agents versus lenders. So for lenders, what we've done, of course, is why mortgages are sexy, why they're not sexy,
Right.
anything granular about, we can break down basically the guidelines.
Right. You can get specific because
You
it's a
can get
long,
super
it's long form format.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it is long form, but short form is taking over right now.
Sure. Mhm.
So we have to kind of go both ways on this.
Okay, go
Over the
both
last
ways.
couple, over the past couple of years, your long form is where your consumers always come back to, right?
Right.
How to buy a mortgage, how to sell a house, how to buy a house, how to get finance for a home, USDA, FHA. So it's just a long form education that once your consumer gets on that platform, of course, and they subscribe,
Right.
every video that comes out, that client is going to get that information.
Right.
And so it's unlike Instagram and Facebook that when you put that video out there, they're not going to remotely see it.
Right.
Right. Because they like to truncate that down and not go out. But the good thing for YouTube, it is a platform that you can always come back to continue to be educated.
Yeah, you can go to your subscriptions once you subscribe to somebody, and it has all the videos that they've been posted for that. You can search and find what you want.
Yeah.
So if someone were to post, okay, so clarify for me, there's two types of way to post on YouTube, as far as I understand, right? You can do your normal video, which can be, there's no limit. You can make it 10 seconds, or it can be 4.5 hours. Like there's no.
That's what's crazy. That's what's so cool. Like long form content is anything over like a minute.
Right.
That's what's considered.
Is that what it's called now? Anything over a minute?
Well, because that is not a short. A short is no longer on YouTube. Right.
Our attention span is ridiculous these days. Like we can't focus. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I can't focus on anything more than 5 minutes. But
so TikTok is now 10 minutes. I got that notification yesterday. It's now officially 10 minutes on TikTok. Instagram is still 90 seconds.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, once you flip over to 61 seconds, that's now considered long form content.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
If we're talking about buying a home, I don't think I can do it in 60. I know you can't do it in 61 seconds.
I can't even talk about like an interest rate in 60 seconds. I don't know. I mean, there's very little I can talk about in 60 seconds.
But it's about capturing the audience.
Yeah.
It's about taking that long form content. And that's what YouTube kind of wants you to do now is if you're doing a 10-minute video, they want you to basically micro content. So clip it down to 1 minute at a time,
which is what the shorts are. So
that's
you have
what the shorts are.
That's the only two ways you can post, right? You either have your long form, anything over a minute, which is ridiculous. And then you have the shorts, which are a minute or less.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And the shorts is relatively new, correct?
Right. That's really, I mean, it's been out there I've been doing it for about a year, but really the push, just like anything else, is short form content.
Because now it shows up on your feed. It didn't used to,
on your feed.
When you go into YouTube, that's probably been within the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, where it's actually popping up when you're scrolling through your, whatever they call it, your normal feed. You'll actually see those shorts and they'll have their own little section you can go through and give you suggestions on that. Okay. So, and then the idea, like you said, is that YouTube is saying, okay, well, make your long form video and then cut it into slices and post it on your shorts.
Absolutely.
Now, can you tag back to, if I have a short that I took a clip from, is because one of my frustrating parts was say TikTok, for example, right? Is if I want to post something on TikTok that is a minute and a half or whatever, because I want to get a little clip, but I really want people to go to the long, like if we were doing this, right? I want someone to come back and watch this, but I can't put a link in there.
Correct.
I can't put a link to the YouTube video in my TikTok, and I can't do that on Instagram, and I can't do that.
It's always link in bio.
Yeah, you have to go like back to the bio to click on it, which is silly. Like, I mean, I get it. They don't want people leaving their platform. Like, I understand that. So is there a way with the YouTube shorts to put a link in there that goes back to your other video.
For sure.
Okay.
So YouTube is very big about re-educating and re-engaging the consumer.
Uh-huh.
So when you do your YouTube description,
Okay.
there's 5,000 characters you can have on every single one.
Do you want to use all those characters?
I use about 2,700.
Okay.
And here's the reason why is because on every content, it's how to buy a home, USDA. So then
Right.
I have my playlist.
Okay.
So I break my description down to now a playlist content.
Okay.
And then
What do you mean a playlist content?
so on your playlist, it's VA loans,
Uh-huh.
it's USDA
Right.
loans, it's moving to Dallas,
Right.
it's community service, it's real estate.
Right.
So now when the consumer goes to your platform,
Uh-huh.
and if they're going in your description underneath, you can now link in every video that you have.
Oh, I see. So you can put. So what you're saying is like if someone searches online for VA or a VA loan, and it says, do I have to pay mortgage insurance on a VA loan? And you make a video that's like, no, you don't have to pay. Here's why. Here's what do they have their guarantee or their funding fees? Blah
Right.
blah blah. Right. You explain all that. So in the description of that video, you
Yep.
can then link to all your other VA
Absolutely.
videos. Okay.
It's like, here's your playlist, here's your VA playlist. Real estate, are you looking at growing your business? Here's this. If
Got
you
it.
want to apply, here's this.
Got
if you
it.
want your seller's guide, click this. So they give you 5,000 characters
Okay.
that will minimize.
Right.
And you can take your short form video,
Uh-huh.
and in the description, you're going to talk about your video just like you do on any other content. And then below it, you're going to have basically the same copy and paste. Is
Gotcha.
what I always do.
And so the shorts give you the same amount of descriptions
Absolutely,
as well.
5,000.
Oh wow. Okay. So you can link to everything in there,
Absolutely.
which is good for that because it does. And YouTube's fine with that because it keeps them on. It keeps you on their platform
For
anyway,
sure.
so you're not leaving.
Yeah, and it's basically they want you to take that micro clip and turn it into the long form. And
Got
so you will take that micro clip and say, "Hey, here's the long form video link. Go watch it now."
Okay. All right. So on YouTube, your videos obviously are, that's the primary. There's not any pictures or anything like that you do on YouTube.
Correct.
For
It's
sure.
actually education videos or podcasts like this.
Right. So, and this is live on YouTube right now. So when you look at doing a video on YouTube, there's a lot of things that you want to pay attention to, right? You want to see your video quality, your audio quality. There's also your tile that you use to that people will use to see it,
Yeah, that's
online.
gonna be your cover, is
right?
your tile, however you want to say
So
it.
your descriptions, your hashtags, all the stuff that you need to include on your video in order to get it seen. Okay.
Absolutely.
So if you're ranking level of importance of those things when you're making your video, what do you think are the most important things to get your video seen? Because at the end of the day, that's the idea, right? We're trying to get
Right.
people to see it.
Absolutely.
So what do you need to do to make sure that happens? Or I should say as much as possible, right? You can't,
Right.
you can't force people away.
So you want to make sure you use I use TubeBuddy. It's perfect for that.
TubeBuddy.
TubeBuddy.
Okay.
Because that's going to help kind of work the SEO. So that's your search engine optimization rankings.
Okay.
And it's going to tell you again of how to optimize your video to be a better standard.
Okay.
The three biggest points that I think some of our
So real quick on TubeBuddy. So this is a separate software.
it's within YouTube.
It's within YouTube.
It's in, but it's like a $10 a month
Gotcha.
subscription.
And is it more about telling you about the videos you've already made, or is it telling you how to improve a video you've already made by adding stuff to it?
You can do both. You can
Okay.
actually go back and re-optimize your old videos.
Okay.
Or start fresh.
I got you. And it'll tell you like you need to include these hashtags or you need
Yep.
to have a longer description.
Well, not really the hashtags. It's going to tell you of what you need to prepare. Like these are the hashtags you should use for this type of video.
Okay.
So when we talk about that keywords anywhere a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, you'll search your keyword and your keyword will optimize with the hashtag. They're going to give you a bank of hashtags. And then it's going to tell you on a wheel, it's going to color wheel it up to 100%
Okay.
of and this is where YouTube is very dynamic about it. Your download should be the same name as your cover. That should be the same name of your title.
Gotcha.
And so if you have,
one's consistency.
it's the analytics.
Okay.
And it's weird. Like when we download it, it has to match the upload, which matches the cover, which matches the title, and then the first sentence.
Got it.
So when those four match, the algorithm says, hey, it's all connected. We're going to push it out a little bit further.
Gotcha.
So those are the four main contents of YouTube.
So your cover photo needs to have, let's say, 3 tips for buying a home.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then your description needs to start with 3 tips for buying a home.
And it needs to be verbatim.
Right.
Like,
exactly the same.
Exactly.
And then your keywords
Need
to be 3 tips for buying a home.
Right.
And then what was the 4th thing?
It's your cover, your title, your first word of the description of that 5,000, and then your upload.
what's your upload?
So when you save it on your desktop and upload, you'll
That's what
save
you
it.
need to call it.
You actually need to call it.
Wow. Okay. So you wow. Okay. So
It's
you
dynamic.
need to save the file as 3 tips for buying a house.
Absolutely.
You need to put that in your cover picture, 3 tips to buy a house.
Yes.
You need to put that as the first line of your description, 3
Yes.
tips to buy a house. And then you need to be the first thing in your keywords or whatever.
Correct.
Right. Wow.
So
Okay.
then your keywords, when you optimize it through YouTube, it's going to say 3 tips, and it may tell you, right? You may not want to do 3 tips to buy a home,
Right.
but maybe 3 tips for house hunting.
Okay.
It's going to give you on TubeBuddy. It's going to tell you which one is ranking higher for the searches.
So before you even post it, you can then
Yes.
go back and change everything.
Absolutely,
and then
you can
post it?
before you upload it.
Wow.
So
Right.
it's kind of reverse on YouTube, right?
Okay.
On everything else, you just upload and go.
And then hope it works. Yeah.
On YouTube, you do the reverse psychology is you go keyword search, you go see what people are searching for,
Right.
like how to buy a home using a VA home loan,
Okay.
how to buy a home using an FHA.
Now, is this on TubeBuddy or you just type it in YouTube and see what?
It's on TubeBuddy.
Okay.
And then, the same thing for real estate agents. They always ask me of what content to post.
Right.
Real estate agents should do the exact opposite of what we do.
Okay.
It's why to move to the area, why not to move to the area.
Gotcha. Not about how to buy a house, but
not how to buy a home, because people kind of know how to do that.
Right.
We have to think about who's on YouTube.
Right.
It's the education piece of the people moving into the area or leaving the area.
Right. They want to know about the schools and the restaurants.
They want to know about the schools.
Right.
So real estate agents kind of take this as a platform, and this is your time to get out in the community and know your taco shops and tequila joints and everybody like that.
Right.
Because the people that are coming, yes, you'll sprinkle in, how to buy a home, how to sell a home.
Sure.
But the big thing,
But that's not what they're searching for.
They're searching for why to move to the area.
Right.
And the biggest one that I follow is in Austin. He does nothing about real estate, but he talks about why construction sucks. He does talk about new home builds,
Sure.
existing home builds, and he'll micro content it to the subdivisions.
Right.
So he'll say, hey, this is the best area to move in Austin. And here's the best reason not to move to Austin for that subdivision.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're going to start doing on the real estate side.
Gotcha. So you're going to work with your agents to kind of focus on the area and the neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff, not necessarily the nuts and bolts of getting under contract when you buy a house, because really, who cares?
Agents should be focused on that.
Right. Right. So they want specifics on areas then. Okay. So let's talk about, is it do you call it tile? Do you call it a cover photo? Like what's the actual name?
I call everything a cover.
A cover. Okay. So when you upload your video, it always asks you if you want a cover on top of it. So what are some things that people need to do when they're making a cover that they need to focus on? Obviously we know they whatever the title is, it has to have those 4 things that we just talked about. So it all matches. So you definitely want it to have that. Okay.
3 to 5 or 3 to 6 really words.
Okay.
They don't want to go.
You don't want
that
a whole long description
because no one's going to read it. Let's be legit. Again, we talk about the microsecond of the brain, and you have 1 second.
And then of course you see everybody and everybody's
you,
like, oh.
You can those are the fun things you can do. You can have fun with it, but it's really cool. You can build it out in Canva. You can build it out in YouTube. You can do it. You can build it out on your phone. You can.
So when you do the keywords that you want on the front, what else? Is it good to have pictures? Is it better to be simple, big colors, bold colors, big?
Both. You want to kind of you want to keep your brand colors. We keep talking about the brand. You want to kind of have your brand so everything's about the same.
Okay.
But you also want to be big and bold and bright.
Right.
But what's again kind of cool is when you put, let's say, buying a home using a VA home loan.
Right.
Or getting approved for a VA home loan. When you go to TubeBuddy and you look, it's one of the features in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like screen 3 or 4. It's going to show you everybody else that has that video. It's going to show you what their covers look like.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you can kind of, again, you're going to steal it. You're going to look at it and see what's performing the best.
Right.
And then go towards what you want to do.
Right.
So it's kind of cool. That's why, again, you want to research before you actually do it.
Right.
You can do your videos.
Make your video, but how you want to set it up is.
But how you want to set it up.
Yeah.
100%. Again, we're going to go to YouTube to educate ourselves on how to repost on that platform.
Gotcha. So do you feel like if you were going to focus in, let's say you're getting new into YouTube and you want to learn one thing and get good at it. Should you start with, the best type of audio because people care about how it sounds? Should you start with how to make a cover photo the best? Should you start with learning how to use good keywords? What do you think is the most important of all those things that's going to get you the best? I know it's a combination of everything, obviously, but
honestly, audio on YouTube, It's not a big thing, right?
Really?
Because it's more about what are you doing to hold the consumer.
Okay.
Everything on YouTube is the watch time.
How long you're on it.
How long are you on that
Right.
one specific video?
Right.
That's why you don't necessarily want a 40-minute video, because
They're not
someone
going to stick around.
who actually has 40 minutes of
And
their
it's
day.
measured on a percentage. So if you have a 2-minute video and someone
Yes.
stays for 1 minute, they watch 50% of your video.
Absolutely.
If you have a 30-minute video and someone stays for 2 minutes, they watched whatever 2% of your video or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
And then what's really cool in the analytics, it's going to tell you on that specific video of where you lost your consumers.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And so if it's a 3-minute video and say it started a second minute and a half, it's going to tell you like your fallout's a minute and a half. So maybe you need to, on the next video, again, re-educate the brain of how you do it.
Well, and that's where the whole idea of what is it, the hook, right?
It is. Everything is the same on short versus long, right? You do your hook, you do your introduction. On that, you do want to really kind of reintroduce yourself.
Yeah.
Unlike Instagram, it's really cracks me up. I had some agents yesterday. They're like on their Instagram page, they're like, "Oh, hey, this is blah 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 with da 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 da," and I'm like, "Dude, you just took 15 seconds to introduce yourself."
You're on your page.
You're on your platform.
They know who you are.
The difference of YouTube is they're not specifically on your platform.
Right. They're not on your page. They found you.
They found you.
Yeah.
So you do want to have your 3 to 5 second hook, your quick introduction,
right.
and then boom, go into your video of what it's about.
Right. Okay. All right. So you don't think audio is as big of a deal? I mean, it matters, but
it does matter, but not to the extent.
Gotcha.
Your piece of information is what's more critical on YouTube, your education piece.
So really what you're trying to tell people about is what matters.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're searching for.
Absolutely.
So whether or not you have the best cover photo or whether or not your audio is the best or whatever.
Yeah, it's the delivery of the message.
It's still the content.
It's the content and the delivery of how you do the message.
Okay. How many, like when you do your stuff, I mean, do you focus more on YouTube or are you trying to put it out into other places first? Like, are you doing Instagram first and TikTok first, or like, how do you structure your importance of where you want to post?
Yeah. So YouTube is very big on posting the content at the same time every single week.
Okay.
And so on your banner, right, everyone has the cover banner on their page. I post one video a week.
Okay.
So then again, AI is crazy. It reads, okay, Glenda's going to post one video a week. And then I'm going to post the video at the same time every single week. Again, YouTube algorithm knows if you tell it that you're going to start posting at 7:00 on Saturday, well, you better post at 7:00 on Saturday because it's going to read. The more you post at 7:00 on Saturday, because you told your consumers you're going to post once a week,
right?
It's going to rank you higher.
Gotcha.
And then I start sprinkling in the YouTube shorts that I put on every other platform. But my long form is now 7:00 on Saturdays because that's where my people like to come back and watch it for some reason.
And YouTube prefers that. They want you to be consistent with you.
For
So they
sure.
want you to be like Growing Pains, where you're going to come on at Saturday at 7:00 every day.
And it's like, hey, 7:00 on Saturday, here comes Glenda. Well, guess what? Subscribe and you're going to see every Saturday at 7:00, a long form video now comes out.
Something pops up that you put in there.
Yeah.
Are you able very often to drive people back to your YouTube page from other platforms, or is it just, I mean, we talked about that a minute ago, but is that really difficult? Are there any ways to use, the Facebooks and the TikToks and the
TikTok links to YouTube.
Yeah, but I mean, not direct videos. It only links in your profile, right?
Well, it links to the profile that brings up your
page,
your playlist. Right. So that's what's good, right? When you're on TikTok, TikTok is, I think, one of the best ones to relink it back to Instagram and YouTube.
Gotcha.
You want to take your short video and saying, hey, and that's when you do like full link video to YouTube. So they know to go to your YouTube, click the button, and it's, oh, boom, there it is.
Right.
And so it's kind of a little bit different, right? Because YouTube does allow you to share to every platform.
Right.
But it's just like everything else. If you take the actual YouTube video
and post it on Facebook,
guess what? You're not going to be seen.
No.
But if you re-download it into an MP4 or take your original upload and download it into Facebook, then yes. And then saying, hey, here's my YouTube link bio. Go check out the video or whatever.
Would Facebook, you think Facebook would put if you put the link, even if you're like, here's my not YouTube video, but here's my YouTube page, do you think they still kind of shadow ban you or whatever you want to call it?
No, I don't think so, because it's not taking the actual link from another platform.
Gotcha.
The whole thing is they don't
want to click on something and
they don't want to click you and take you off the platform, but you can tell people to go to another platform.
So when you do the shorts, do you think with the YouTube shorts that they need to be just a piece of a long form video, or do you think it should be its own thing where you make it a short by itself? Maybe it relates to your long form
Yep.
video, but ultimately it's just its own little thing that you do for a minute. What do you think is
I
better?
microclip mine. I kind of do both.
Okay.
I kind of sprinkle in my standard videos that I do, and then I micro content what we do. Because again, it's the education. Is if someone sees a piece of that information, then they're
Yeah.
going to go find the long form video
Right.
somewhere somehow. And so I kind of sprinkle in both of them. Like we'll take this full length video and put it into YouTube,
Right.
but we'll micro content and say, hey, here's this part, then push it back to the full length.
Got it. Now, when you started learning all this stuff with YouTube specifically, I'm assuming you were using YouTube to
Yes.
figure all this out.
Yes.
Yeah. So, who are some people that do you have anybody off the top of your head that you know that you follow that that you think not necessarily related to lending and real estate, but just here's how to use YouTube? Like, is there anybody that you?
Daryl Eves is who, and he has a book that's YouTube for beginners, I think is what it is. I give it out in my YouTube classes. It's a fantastic read. It's a pretty thick book, but it tells you the mindset behind the YouTube. And I think that's what the YouTube, do you like that? The YouTube.
The YouTube.
It's kind of like anything else. When you know who you're talking to, that's what the book's about. It
Right.
tells you when you're not talking to, just me and Mike, but you're talking to Nancy on the platform of having the education. When YouTube sees that raw emotion, and we talk about pain points all of the time,
Right.
they're going to continue to push out your videos to more Nancy's in the world of, who's searching for you
Right.
type thing. But Daryl Eves, that book, I don't know what it is. It's YouTube for beginners or something. It's a great read.
Okay. And are there any like when you get updates on stuff on way, like, when they're starting to do shorts and what works for shorts, like how do you get your recent information, like your updated
Anything else? It's on social media. It's on
Yeah.
every platform.
Yeah.
When creators on TikTok, not that I spend a lot of time because I do my research time. I really only spend about 20 minutes on every platform. That's
Right.
what everyone's like, you're spending so much money on time on social media. I'm really not. It's like 20 minutes a day on every platform. So it's less than an hour a day. But when creators on every single platform say this is the way to go,
Right.
then and they're all versions. It doesn't matter if they're
Sure.
lending real estate. It could be just a social content creator.
Yeah, it's
saying,
just how to use the platform. It's not
It's how to
necessarily about
use
your
it.
content that you're creating.
Yeah, and when they say go to YouTube Shorts, like this is where you should be pushing it. That's where it goes because again, they're fighting with TikTok.
If someone's going through YouTube, do you think that are you if can you buy ad time where you pop up, because there's that left hand, or I should say right-handed side of the screen where all your next ups and suggested for you, that kind of thing. So if I'm making a video about how to, the benefits of a VA loan or whatever, does YouTube allow you to, boost your results when people search you,
It's
or
all
is it a
how
Google search, or how's it?
You can do two things. You can actually do YouTube ads, which are Google ads,
Okay.
or you can just get really optimized on your video.
Got it.
The more you get optimized, the more you'll show up in other people's platforms.
And when you say optimize, you were talking about what we discussed a minute ago, where you've got the 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about optimization in regard to that you need to?
Yeah. So, and I don't have it on my screen in front of me. But when you're in your video, editing your video on the right-hand side, it's going to tell you like the 9 best practices to do.
Right.
It's going to add your chapters, which is very big. The chapters are what you see at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
To tell the consumer of, oh, hey, basically
Here's
skip ahead.
Next
Like
part.
I feel like it's like a VHS in a video, like, oh, let's skip ahead to the next chapter, but
Okay.
it is.
So it's good to have chapters?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Everything should have a chapter. Even in your short, you should have a chapter. It's really weird. But it says chapters. Do you have an end screen? So your end screen says, hey, take me to the next video.
Right.
Do you have tiles and, extra tiles? It says, hey, maybe you should subscribe to this link to go to the next video.
So the more features you have that you're using, the better it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the biggest feature, which is really weird, on the tracker says share to Facebook and get your first Facebook like.
Okay.
But when you go to Facebook and get your first like, it says, well, I don't really like your video. So now we're not going to show it on Facebook.
Right.
But hey, thank you, YouTube, for patting me on the back. So again, I don't know. Like, I don't know the mindset, but all of those.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Like it's still on the right-hand side that says, hey, get your first YouTube or your first Facebook like.
So you're really at an advantage if you use all the bells and whistles that they have available. So if you use the chapters, if you use the end screen tiles where they can click on the next video,
and it's going to tell you, like, it's going to help you. It's going to guide you of where to go to do it.
Really?
So if you have your tile, it's going to say, hey, take you to your tile selection. And it's going to say, hey, what videos do you want to add to the tile to be able to add to your video.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you made all your playlists, did you start by just making one video and then a different video on a different topic and then went back to that topic and made more on that one, or how'd you do it?
Yeah, I mean, the playlist for beginners is not something you want to start off with because
Okay.
you don't know where kind of your vision is going.
Sure.
So my playlist, I mean, I've been doing this for 2.5, almost 3 years now. I think it was September now, because no, 2 years, September 2020. So I have, I think, like 60 or 65 videos that now I can truncate into separate playlists.
Gotcha.
But when I first started, I didn't know what the playlists were going to contain, right?
Right.
But now I can break it down to first-time home buyers. I can break it down what happens to go after contract, because I take those videos, especially for us, once we go under contract, we have internal systems, right?
Right.
But it's super cool to go that one step further for that client. I can now give them my YouTube playlist and saying, hey, you're under contract. You're going to get our internal Verity mortgage notifiers. But hey, here's your playlist.
Right.
When you have time, go watch them.
Right. What's on your new contract playlist?
It breaks down basically the 6 steps of you go under contract, you have got your escrow, then your inspection, and then underwriting, processing, final. And it was the very first shorts that I did, which is weird because I didn't even know I was doing shorts, but now it's like I may have to redo them. Just because I did them back, 2 years ago.
Right.
But that's a fun fact. Never take down your first video to see how bad it is and see where you started.
Well, yeah, sure. I've seen people do that all the time where they pull down all their stuff and like, oh, I started over. I'm like, why? Like, what is it? I'm like, you probably sucked the first go around, but who cares? Like, it's not a big deal.
I did that last night for my very first TikTok, and then I reposted it last night, and it was like completely different. I was like, oh, look where I started.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that makes this a little bit better too.
So, when you talk about your the different apps or whatever you want to call it that you use to post, so Canva's a big player for you, right? Because that creates all. What all can you do in Canva? You create your cover page.
Canva is everything for me. You can go anything from social media. You can even post on social media now.
Okay.
You can schedule your social media.
Really?
They have an actual scheduler now. You can make shirts, like I've made my Verity mortgage shirts on them.
Really?
You can make notebooks. Like when I say it's literally the best platform, I make presentations from there. So it's literally anything incorporated in marketing is what Canva is.
Okay.
It's a very underutilized tool that everybody in this industry should use for $14 a month.
Okay. So you use Canva for everything. And then
everything. Sorry, Canva.
And then you use TubeBuddy when you upload your videos to tell you which keywords to use, what hashtags, all that kind of stuff. And then when you make your videos, you are using your phone mostly?
Yep.
Okay.
I use my phone.
Yeah. You don't
Most of the time I use my phone, or we have an HD, the one that we're using right now, which is the HD Logitech.
Yeah.
But most of the time I just use my phone and then actually turn it around to the 3 buttons. So it's a more clearer picture. And
you turn around to the 3. What do you mean?
Well, I use this
Landscape?
side and not. Yeah, I don't flip it around. I actually use the 3.
I see. So you don't look at yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't, because you actually on this, it's got a better picture.
Got it. Got it.
But then I just have my laugh.
I never thought about that before. That's right. Yeah, I guess if you do it, I mean, you can't see yourself, but get over it, I guess. But
I have a mirror on there. It's kind of crazy. Because it does, like, you have to be in, I think, for Kaysen, she's 7, she's been on YouTube all these years, and I'm looking at their videos and I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
If my kid's doing that. So it's just the granular of what the content is.
Sure.
That's what the consumers want.
Gotcha.
It's what you're trying to get across to your consumer is the reason that we do it.
And then when you make those with your phone, do you just use the phone's mic, or do you have a separate?
I have that lav mic that we put in the last couple of weeks, and I'll go repost it. It was like $19 on YouTube.
Gotcha.
That just links into the mic. Or you can use one of these if you've got a good setup. This is probably $100. Your thing is 150. So you can really get started for under, $300 if you wanted to. But that's if you have a little bit of budget.
Right.
If a shoestring budget, you absolutely use your phone and a $20 lav mic, and it's fine.
And then what about so now you've made the video, how do you edit it?
It's actually interesting on YouTube. It's most time as a raw edit, and I just go as is.
Okay.
So I don't add extra memes,
But I've seen some of your videos. You've got all kinds of graphics and stuff that pop up.
Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends on the topic, right?
Right.
Like the one that I did that was moving to Dallas Fort Worth. Of course, I'm going to put construction in there, and the Dallas Cowboys suck. Like, yes, that's what I put for one of them, and that's like my biggest one of my biggest videos.
Everybody loves when you trash the Cowboys.
Right, but they're like my fans. Like those are I absolutely love and diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. But you know what? Let's be real. They're not going to win the Super Bowl again this year.
Hey,
Um,
don't you never know. But I think you have somebody that helps you edit, right?
I do. They
Yeah.
do the short form.
Okay.
They don't do my long form video. But they do my short form.
And how'd you find that person?
From another loan officer girl.
Okay.
Yep.
And
they're in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
that's from Fiverr. Like
Right.
again, we keep talking about Fiverr.
Okay, that's what I was.
Fiverr
Yeah.
was the original transcript for it, and they will edit your videos, you know, $30-$40 a video,
Mhm.
which is cheap. Or like I said, a lot of my YouTube is just raw edit. There's
Right.
nothing, minus putting my intro in there and they call it an outro, which is really weird. And I made that up like 2 years ago. So that's all it is.
Huh. Okay.
So your hook, 3 to 5 seconds.
Right.
Your quick little video clip that I made recently, my what I'm talking about,
Right.
and then my outro. That's all it is.
And that's all it is. Those
YouTube is
but those are
education.
the shorts though, right?
No, that's my
That's your
actual
long form ones
Mhm.
too. Do you do your intro of yourself though too in that long form, right? Because
on the long form, but the short form I do not.
you don't.
No, because you only have 60 seconds.
Right. You can chew up all your time with you talking
Yeah,
about who
you
you
do
are.
not. Your 60 seconds on YouTube wants to be an actual. Let me get to the point.
Yeah.
What's 60 seconds about?
Yeah, it's really tough to get everything into 60 seconds.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you have 62 seconds. And so I'm like, oh, let me speed it up a little bit.
All right. So just to recap what we talked about today. So we talked about using the 4, which is the biggest thing I took from this, is keeping consistency with the 4 things with your title or your cover page, your description, your keywords, and the title of your actual file, which blows my mind that they actually care about that. Those things are very important to get your SEO up so people see you more often. You use the shorts, but you can clip out short form content on those, or you can take those and create your own short form, but you don't necessarily need to include information about yourself because you only got 60 seconds to knock it out.
And it's pretty cool. Like recently when I've uploaded my long form video, YouTube now has a clip feature.
Yes, I saw that.
So they're telling you they're giving you the suggestion, hey, microclip your own stuff and re-download it to a short.
Yeah.
It's giving you the feature now that you can do it on your own without anybody doing it.
Right. And that way it'll draw more to your original. And the great thing too is on the descriptions, you have 5,000 characters that you can use, which means you can put all the description of the video, but you can also link back to all your other videos.
Plus calendar invite, and you know, this is where you book your calendar invitations for your consultations, you know, any buyer seller guides that you may have, you know, your highest demand videos that you have, you know, information about you or other social media platforms. So you have 5,000 characters to kind of end all be all. Now, does anybody look down there? I don't know, but we do get some clients to say, hey, yeah, we scrolled to the bottom and this is where we found you.
Sure.
So it, you know,
no, it happens.
Just put it in
just
there.
use it all. Well, and
Just
like you
copy and
said,
paste.
the biggest part of it is that use all of the bells and whistles that YouTube offers you, because you get a better result from that if you do.
Absolutely.
If you use the chapters, if you use the end screen, click on the next video type stuff. If you use all of that, you're going to have a better opportunity to get more people to see you because you're using kind of all the bells and whistles that they provide for you.
And they're going to give you the hashtags. I think that's what's also kind of a misstep is when you put your hashtags in there, if you scroll to the bottom, it's going to tell you kind of in a red, green, and yellow bar of what's trending.
Right.
And it gives you between, 1 and 100. It's going to tell you the hashtags to use.
Right.
And it could be a 10-page hashtag. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
But if there's a green button on that hashtag, absolutely use it. Because again, YouTube's telling you, it's like Google, like their analytics are so raw and so amazing. Like use what they're giving you. They're telling you how to get better and how to be found.
Right. So use it.
Yeah. Use it.
All right. Well, anything else about YouTube in particular that we didn't talk about that you think is important that anybody posting on there needs to pay attention to?
Just I like to start off with taking the steps. Like don't miss a step.
Sure.
When you miss a step, it's not going to get found.
Right.
But just go through every step, 1, 2, 3. I always like to say on social media, go left to right, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Like when they give you stuff left to right, my brain is left to right, top to bottom. It's never top left, but it's like right to left. Because it's going to tell you step 1, step 2, step 3, how to optimize it. It's going to say no. And then if you decide to use TubeBuddy, again, it's going to tell you on your color wheel of how to get better. And
the best thing to probably do is make one video, go through the whole gamut of, spend time. Because the first time you do it, it's going to take you probably a couple hours to get it all.
8. Took me 8 the first one.
Right. It's going to take some time, but once you figure it out and you go through all the growing pains of learning how to use the software and learning how to do it, you'll get better and better and better at it.
Yep.
And therefore, the more times you post, then it gets down. But just take the one video, use all of the bells and whistles that we talked about today and add those to it.
Yep.
And then see how that does, and then learn as much as you can from that one video, and then make your second video, because then you'll have gone through the entire process and create a system for yourself. So that way you do the same. And I would even say, like, I do this on some of my other stuff is I write it down. Like
YouTube is a strategy.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to do this first, because then it's like you don't miss a step, right? If you have it all, I mean, it's like, well, I know how to do it. Well, yeah, but you're
I have
doing
a
other
checklist
things.
still.
Yeah, that's
2 years later. I literally have a checklist on my Trello board that I checked. Did I do my cover? Did I do a good description? Did I do my SEO? Did I do a cover? So it has to be, and we'll give that to you, right? Like if anybody wants it, just let us know, and we'll send you the description that we use so you know how to use it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good. That was a pretty good little deep dive into YouTube. So we're gonna do this every 2 weeks now. I think we're gonna not do next week, do the week after that. You want to have any ideas for next week? Is there anything specific you want to go over? You want to get into Instagram? You want to get into TikTok? What do you think?
Me and Instagram aren't working right now.
Oh, you're on a break.
I'm on a
Instagram?
break right now. We're kind of re-engaging. I don't know. We'll let people know next week. I know next week is really big back to school for everybody. So the big thing is you guys go, well, for Midlothian, it's in like 2 days, but go enjoy your kids and, just be on the lookout for what we're going to do in 2 weeks.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out and watching this, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.